Young Minds is a program that is approved by the university. We describe it as a career-focused gap year. If you're a matriculant or somebody just about to leave school, you'll really relate to the fact that it's a very sort of turbulent time. So the idea of a career-focused gap year is to provide young people with an opportunity to just count to 10 metaphorically, but also to step away from being at school where they're guided by teachers into an environment where their learning is autonomous. So during that gap year, you'd be doing various business subjects with us. You'd be doing a lot to do with self-development. And at the same time, you might be redoing maths or science or other matric subjects that you need to improve your scores in order to make an application that is more meaningful. There will be people who, for the first time in their lives, have real freedom to pursue their passions, whether that's academically, socially, or otherwise. Hopefully, the majority of people will realize that this faculty member that stands up in front of me, they are a resource. Try and make the best use of that resource in order to maximize my potential. The ability to embrace the process of learning itself is what gives Young Minds delegates, current and past, the ability to pivot every time the context changes. They're imbued with a degree of confidence that the next step that they took in their journey was just that much more secure.
Welcome honoured guests, faculty, parents and students to the 2022 Young Minds Certificate Awards ceremony hosted by Stellenbosch Business School Executive Development. My name is Melvi Todd and I am going to be your Master of Ceremonies for this morning's proceedings. So just briefly, my relationship with Stellenbosch Business School Executive Development is that I am a part-time faculty member. I'm also an entrepreneur and an eternal scholar, and I can completely relate to the excitement this morning, having just graduated with my PhD yesterday. So I am so excited for all of you that will be receiving your certificates today. It's really going to be a celebration because hard work really does pay off. I am definitely in party mode and I hope you guys are too. Please let me know on the chat, how are you feeling? Are you excited? Also tell me where you guys are dialing in from. Right. Okay, before we kick off for the ceremony, just a few housekeeping rules, please. So first of all, I would like you please to keep your videos on during the ceremony so that we can see you. However, if we can ask that you please keep your mics muted until we start the procession. At that point in time, of course, please do unmute the mic, cheer, go wild, clap for yourself, for your classmates, and also to thank those who supported you on this journey. Again, please feel free to share your thoughts and comments in the chat. We'd love to hear what you're thinking, how you're feeling during the course of the morning. Again, applaud loudly. We'd love to hear you guys dialing in. And then also, if you haven't already done so, please download the virtual background in the chat and upload that. If you have any issues with that, then just let us know in the chat and the guys will help you out. And then lastly, we please do ask that you stay until the end so that we can all celebrate together in the end. Engage with us on social media. There are numerous channels that you can choose from. LinkedIn, Facebook. Okay, Facebook is maybe, you guys don't really use that anymore. I hear TikTok and Instagram is much more the thing these days. YouTube, whatever tickles your fancy. Hashtag us Young Minds 2022, please. Right. Next up, today's program, of course, after the welcoming now, I'm going to introduce our CEO for a brief message to kick off the morning's proceedings. We are then going to have our keynote address by Dreyer, whom you guys met earlier this year. I think it was in March. Then we're going to hear from Kevin Henderson, the Young Minds about the program, our learning process facilitator, a short message from her, and then the main event, the certificate award procession, after which we'll have a final thanks and closing and farewell. Right, so next up, please, it gives me great pleasure to welcome our Stellenbosch Business School Executive Development CEO, Dr. Chris van der Werven, who is definitely one of the biggest fans of this Young Minds program, as I'm sure you will soon hear. He insisted that I don't say anything more, but if you go check his LinkedIn profile, I'm sure you will see why Stellenbosch Business School Executive Development has been going from strength to strength under his leadership since 2018. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Chris van der Werven.
Thanks very much, Malvi. Good morning, everybody. A very warm welcome from me. I had a look at what I said to the graduating class last year, and there were three things that I thought were important then, and they were, first of all, to encourage everybody to do the right thing, and secondly, to be positive, and thirdly, to keep learning. And I mention this only because I then listened to what our keynote speaker has had to say on occasion and discovered that he has a list of various things that are important to say. And I don't want to overload you with too many of these things. But I thought it was an opportunity for me, by way of saying congratulations, it was an opportunity for me to tell you why I chose the three things that I did. The first thing about doing things right is that one of the things I hope you've got from your program this year is that you realize that it's not obvious what the right thing is to do, and that you are really tested when choices are in a gray area. So, you know, if it's not very clear to you what's right and what's wrong, what the program should have done is to help you to give a little bit of thought about how to be smart around making those choices. Who do I talk to? Who do I go to in order to make those decisions? All right, so that's the first thing. And by the way, in your career journey, you'll find that there's often situations in which making the right choice is a very gray area. And so having a good network around you, people you rely on and people you can trust, is important to do. The second thing about being positive, again, you'll have had insights into this from your program, is just you can make a choice to have the glass half full. It's really, if as you go through your sort of learning journey over your life, you'll be in many situations where it's much more fun to be the critic than it is to be the person who's the motivator. And I would encourage you to think very carefully about being the critic, particularly if you're not the author of the book. To be the critic of the book is easy, but to be the author is very, very tricky. So, and there's many examples like that, and I'm sure you can think of more. The last thing is about keeping learning. And the keeping learning piece for me is a very simple idea, and that is, if you can keep learning, you can keep changing. And if you look around you, even in your career up to this point, even over your time at school and post-school, you'll have noticed that a lot of things have changed really quickly. And the antidote to change being a problem for you is if you learn to learn and have the ability to change. And so I think that's important. So those are the things that were top of mind for me last year. And I wanted to repeat those because I think they're no less important. But I wanted to add something else which I think is important, and that is that we don't, and most of us are guilty of this, some more than others. I know I'm definitely guilty of it, but how often do we take a time out and just stop and think, is this about me? And if it's not about me, who is it about? And I say this because on the call with us, if I can put it like that, are all the sponsors, the friends, the guardians, the mums, the dads, the people, the family and other supporters who have looked after you on this part of your journey. And they might have done so previously also. And so for you, it's been all about you, but they have been the ecosystem that have supported you. And when things aren't going the way that you wish they would, I think it's valuable to take that time out. So stop and think, is this just about me? What about the people around me? Sometimes you might have a friend or a colleague or a sponsor for that matter who appear to be acting in a way that is not really supporting you and your goals and so on. And the question you've got to ask yourself is what's happening in that person's life? Because there's often a lot going on that's nothing to do with you. It's just about understanding and empathizing with them. And then obviously the question must become for you, how can I help? So in those circumstances, what can you do to make a difference to them? And I add this to the list of do the right thing, be positive, and keep learning. This idea of taking a time out and thinking about what other people need. Because in my own journey, my own learning journey, I've discovered that the people that are the best leaders are those who behave in that way. They have an outside-in attitude. In other words, what's going on with other people before they are concerned about what's going on with them. And there's many very erudite academics who've published and done research on this kind of stuff and who could confirm what I'm saying. So on your behalf then, let me just acknowledge the guardians, moms, dads, family, friends, sponsors and other supporters that have looked after you. And if for those of you that are in the room, from all of us, thank you very much. And then just one little caveat before I stop, and that is to say that although my message is to say, remember that it's not just about you today, it is about you. So congratulations and enjoy the celebration. Thank you. Thanks, Melvi.
Thanks very much, Chris, for those wise words. And you guys heard, keep learning, keep that attitude. It's the antidote to change. And then very importantly, remember to take that time out to reflect. It really is in those moments that you can grow. Next, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker, Nick Dreyer. So Nick is, of course, a passionate advocate of local brands and local manufacturing, and that he simply embodies entrepreneurship. So it's amazing to have him here today. So, of course, and why it is so suited to have him here today is this program is indeed about discovering self, as well as expanding knowledge around business and encouraging entrepreneurship. So briefly, some points that I'd like to highlight from Nick's bio is that Nick was co-founder of and he is CEO of Veldskoen shoes, the iconic South African brand that took the world by storm, being worn by none other than Prince Harry, Ashton Kutcher, and of course our very own Olympic team. Very proud of that. Nick matriculated from Pretoria Boys High School and pursued a career in the hospitality industry after attaining a national diploma in hospitality management from the Cape Peninsula University of Technology. The next 17 years were spent in a diversity of positions, including being general manager of the world-class Element House in Bantry Bay, director of Everard Reed, Africa's oldest commercial art gallery, and the owner and founder of Oriti, a fine art advisory firm providing specialized services in selected markets, to name but a few. But of course, the point is not to hear from me, but rather from the man himself. But before that, we have a small treat for you guys. Let's have a look at Veldskoen's latest TV ad.
Tell you an incredible story. I want to take you to a place I know well, where everybody knows the heart of the story, where everybody has a story to tell. With my new shoes, get me there. New shoes, show me the way. And new shoes, get me there. New shoes, show me the way. I want to tell you an incredible story. I want to take you back and forward in time, where everybody knows the heart of the story. Oh, everybody will be dancing and crying. With my new shoes, get me there. New shoes, show me the way. New shoes, get me there. New shoes, show me the way. New shoes, show me the way.
Hello, everybody. Wow, it's lovely to be here and to chat to you again, and to Chris and the team. Thank you so much for having me back. The last time we met in person, and also on the screen, but we spoke about the history of Veldskoen and all of these great achievements of this remarkable business over the last 5 or 6 years. And today, when I was invited to come and speak to you again, of course, I had to think about what we would talk about, because 99% of the time I talk about Veldskoen. Judging by the mood and the energy in the room, today's a party. So I figured maybe it was just time to have a little cocktail table chat with you, all about what the next steps are, because we're going into the holiday festive season. You're with all of your support crew and all your friends and family, and you're probably heading into what will be a little bit of downtime, I hope, for you. And this means that you'll have a little bit of time to think about your future. Now, I'm an entrepreneur and a businessman, and thank you so much for the kind introduction. It's always quite strange hearing about yourself when you get introduced. All the time it's the achievements, because it sort of pedestals one's ability to convey a message. But the stuff that is left out is actually the stuff that really counts. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about that today, because I think it's relevant to anybody that is starting a new journey or finishing a journey, and you're all young and you're all about to embark on something new. And I wanted to just leave you with some thoughts that I have gathered along my entrepreneurial journey. Some stuff that has affected the way I look at the world, and the way I look at business, and the way I look at family and people, because all of those things, when you add them up together, make up the completion of one's life. And one's life in business and entrepreneurship and in your career is the sum of those parts, and it's not just that one thing would make you successful versus the other. So what are the big learnings from business that I've had? The biggest learning from business that I've had and from my career is that it always takes longer than you think. And this is something to prepare your mind for, because the temptation is always that if it doesn't happen quickly, I should bail out. I should quit, because this isn't working for me. But there's a great thing that I read once, that winning sometimes feels like losing, and losing sometimes feels like winning. The trick is to be able to find and to spot the difference. So in my career, often when things are really, really tough, and we spend 3, 4, 5 months really in the hole, as we speak, or the pit, what we don't realize is that those 4 months are actually winning. Those are the 4 months that are shaping the future of our business. These are the 4 months that when you get out at the other end, you will excel in whatever it is that you've taken on board. So it is critically important to realize that it takes longer, and often it is harder. Then the other thing I learned, which I think is just worth sharing with you, is that if you are unhappy, it simply will not work. And what does that mean? It means that you have to have a full heart, and you have to have passion for what you're doing, and you have to share what you're doing, because you're going to need help. And you're going to have a positive outlook on whatever it is you want to do. If you want to build houses, you're going to have to wake up and be happy building houses. And if you are going to become a shoe salesman, be happy being a shoe salesman. And the happier you are and the more you want to do it, the more you will do it and the harder you will work. And that is just simply the easiest tenet of life, is that it's supposed to be a dance. It's not supposed to be a march. And the thing that I've found in Veldskoen and in other businesses is that, well, specifically to Veldskoen, I love Veldskoen and our team loves Veldskoen so much that we get to work every single day. And we love doing what we do. But in previous businesses that have failed in my life, and they have, it was often because I was unhappy, and I was unhappy because my team were unhappy. And that is a function of culture. But why am I telling you this? Because it's important for you to realize that you don't have to know what makes you happy from day one. And secondly, you also don't have to make a decision now that says, this is what I need to do in order to make me happy. Because life simply doesn't work that way. You might today want to study science, maths, go to varsity, you might want to start a business, and that might make perfect sense in your rational mind. But the likelihood of you pursuing that for the next 25, 30 years is relatively slim. I think you need to prepare yourself for change. I think you need to prepare yourself for the fact that your career arc will change. Whether you move into full-time entrepreneurship or just a career, what the tools that you'll require is to think like an entrepreneur. Whether you are, like I say, a vet, or if you're a shoe salesman, thinking like an entrepreneur is what is going to make the difference for you. And the reason I say this about thinking like an entrepreneur is because it is fraught with change, fraught with danger, fraught with risk, fraught with upside, and constantly seeking balance. But the great thing that an entrepreneur knows is that very seldom do your known skill sets impact the success of what it is you're doing. And the greatest example that I know is me. And Ross is a builder, my co-founder. He's a builder, and he was in the building trade, and he was not great at it, but he was fine at it. But he had no business starting a shoe business. I was an art dealer and a hospitality guy. So what did I know about shoes? What did I know about online selling? What did I know about fashion? I knew absolutely nothing about it. But here I am at the age of 30, at 44, and we started this business when I was 37. And we took a complete U-turn on all of our plans and all of our dreams, and we started something completely different. So I don't want to advocate that it's okay to just start and finish things. I want to advocate the fact that you should be doing stuff that makes you happy. And if you can focus on it and you can give it some time, because it does take time, invariably that should lead to success. So these are sort of the things that I felt while I was at Veldskoen. And I wanted to just share one or two of those with you. And then the last thing I wanted to do is I wanted to leave you with 2 tools I believe that will make you successful in any endeavor that you seek to undertake. There are many self-help books that you can read. There are many books on entrepreneurial activity. There are many books on the tools and tactics of great minds and thinkers, and you can go and read as many of them as you want. But for me, the single biggest effector of success in business or in a career, and it's a little bit of a party pooper, I'm afraid, is hard work. There is simply no substitute for hard work. Now, what is hard work? Hard work isn't just simply sitting at a computer looking at your emails. Hard work isn't simply standing in a room being at work. Hard work is your ability to create an output, whether that be finding a way to affect sales, or finding a way to affect improvements in your grades, or finding ways to connect with people to build your network. You need to be able to input effort that generates an output. And that hard work, and you can read 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss and all the rest of it, I get it. The reality is very few people can do it in 2 hours a day. If you're going to be in the business of being high performance and real success, it's going to take far more time in the day than you can expect. And you're going to have to be very sharp with your time management and with your goal orientation and focus methodology, because these things will make it easier for you to input effort and output results. Now, the hard work thing is, of course, it is not without danger. And the problem with that is the amount of energy that you expend putting into whatever endeavor it is you do. There's potentially a fall off on some of the other stuff, right? So family, friends, mental health. Those things are critically important, and you have to be able to find balance. And I love the idea of a timeout. I think it's a very, very important thing to do, because if you don't take time out, all of these things can become overwhelming. And I promise you, your input and your ability to output will fall off an absolute cliff if your mindset's not right, or if you're unhappy. You've got to find this balance. But it will also not work if you're not putting in the work, because if you put in the work, the results will come, which will keep you motivated, which will mean you'll go longer. So the trick is to look after your mind, body, and soul through your friendships groups and your parenting groups and your support groups, but at the same time, let them understand that you've got a mission, and if you're going to achieve that mission, then it's going to require hard work, and you're going to need support and help. So it is a community effort, but it really starts with yourselves, and you're going to have to drive that process as hard and fast and with as much energy as you can. So that is tool number one. The second tool that I felt has become incredibly useful in our business, and is, in fact, it's such an important tool that once you get it right, you don't actually have to think about it. And Chris mentioned it as well. It's doing the right thing. Now, in business, in careers, in life, every single day, you're going to be confronted by questions, decisions, where at some point there is thinking around your moral compass. And that moral compass is not just about the stuff that is right for you, but is the stuff that's right for your teammates and your business partners and your suppliers and your customers. And I tell you, the one thing that I've felt has been the easiest and most wonderful asset that Veldskoen has is that we treat everybody according to our value set, which is to be direct. So in other words, no insinuation, no sarcasm, just be direct. Be absolutely honest about every interaction that you've got, because it's simply easier. There's no space for nuance, just be completely honest. Be fair, do the work, no matter what interaction you're in. If you're having an argument with somebody, if you haven't done the work, it's not a fair argument. You need to do the work, pay respect to the situation that you're in. And then the last one is to be kind. And to be kind is ultimately the test, because if you cannot be kind, you would have failed at the first three. The trick is to get stuff done. Sometimes that's not easy through debate and all the rest of it. But if you can get the last one done, it means that you can come back to the table and you can do it again, and you can do it again, and you can grow the business and you can move it forward. And that is ultimately the fundamental function of what we do in business, is we keep coming back. But if those four values are set in whatever it is you do, guys, it'll be easier and easier for you to come back, and easier for you to come back. Right, so those are some of the tools that I have found very, very useful in business and in my career. So you're now heading out into the world, and I thought I'd take a minute to tell you a little bit about the world as I see it. Forgive me, I am a rose-tinted patriot. So you need to take whatever I say with the following provision. In South Africa, there is a large group of people that are very, very good at being critical about South Africa for very good reason. South Africa's got enormous amounts of challenges, and I'm not denying it. But there's a group of people that do this very well in the news media and all the rest of it, and it's not hard to find the information. You can just switch on your computer and go onto any of the news portals, and you'll see the work of these people telling us how difficult South Africa is. Now, I'm going to clarify, I'm not a denialist. I'm not saying that there's no challenges in this country, but I am part of a group of people that are in a slightly different room, and that room is where we spend time telling people what is right about South Africa and what the future in South Africa could look like, and why it is important to remember that we still live in one of the greatest places on planet Earth. And you are now entering the world, and you are faced with choices. You can go and seek opportunity anywhere you want. And the reason you can go and seek opportunity anywhere you want is because South Africans are known to be smart, talented, hardworking, lovely people to hang around with. Our qualifications are great, so you could probably go find work anywhere. And that is because you are South African. And there's something that has happened in this country that has given you the tools and the characteristics to go and be able to achieve anything in the world. If you don't believe me, just look at the guy that owns Twitter, Elon. I mean, I know he hasn't had a good couple of weeks, but he's still the richest man in the world. And he's one of the world's greatest entrepreneurs of all time. And he's a guy from Pretoria. So you're going to go out there, you've got all the skill sets, but it's because you're a South African that you can go out and enjoy that sort of reputation. So why South Africa? My challenge to you would be, in whatever decision making you're doing, consider South Africa for a multitude of reasons. Firstly, I believe that there is no place in the world that still has entrepreneurial opportunity quite at the scale of South Africa. We are a country where you can still start a shoe business like Veldskoen. Ayanda Pandor started the Sweep South business. What an incredible business. And it was started only in the last 8 to 10 years. The amount of cool businesses that are here are remarkable. We can make a living out of business. The second reason I think it's important to consider South Africa is because as our challenges present them in South Africa, so opportunities unlock. I will put it to you that in the next 5 to 10 years, the most successful entrepreneurs will be solving the problems or the failures of our current government. And I'm not trying to say that the current government is a problem. In this country, I like to say we're 2 for 2 for not great governments. So what I'm saying is, as municipal services struggle, people are going to figure out how to provide those municipal services in the private sector. As our energy issues increase, people are going to figure out how to provide those energy services into the future. And South Africa is by its very nature full of challenges, but it also then presents with enormous, enormous opportunity. Of course, South Africa is one of the greatest places in the world to live just by nature of the fact that it is so beautiful and so diverse. And there is an abundance of talent and an absolute abundance of people that are hardworking and willing to help each other because we have this incredible connectedness. We call it South Africanness. It's also known as Ubuntu. There's a certain amount of compassion and communityship and respect for one another in our country that I think is prevalent in very few other places. From a pure business support perspective, guys, I want to leave you with one overriding thought. You are about to go out into business, or you're going to go out into learning. What I would urge you to do in every single commercial interaction that you take, I believe the way you spend even 1 rand in our country is the equivalent of a vote. I need you guys to think that when you're walking out and you're going to go buy some meat for your braai this holiday, support a local butchery. If you need a pair of socks, think about if that pair of socks has been made here in Maitland in Cape Town. Think about what impact your purchasing has on the South African economy. Make sure that you're not just buying stuff for the sake of being saving orientated. The truth of the matter is that cheap is not always better. What is better is to support the South African economy. And I'm going to challenge you in your careers and on your entrepreneurial journey to bear that in mind. And the reason I say it is because South Africa is the place that will look after you. The better we make it, the more people that we benefit from on the entire value chain, the better this place will get. And you, the young people of South Africa, are the drivers. And the secret source to more employment, the secret source to more investment, the secret source to more value in our families, the secret source to higher income, less inflation, less interest rates, all of it, you can bring an economist into the room, is going to be to support South African businesses, because those are the things that are creating new employment. And we as consumers are the driver. It literally is the market economy. So I'm going to wrap up now. I'm wrapping up with such joy in my heart. Here you all are, supported by your family and friends, at the beginning of a journey that I can't wait to hear about. I just want to learn in the next 5 years of all of you having done such successful things. I want you to message me on Instagram and Facebook or wherever it is you choose to in the future, and say to me, Nick, I'm in Adelaide and I'm doing X, Y, and Z, or I've just got my doctorate, or I've done whatever. And if you're in Pardon Island, come and visit me. And I want to talk about your success, and I want to hear about what you've learned. And then I want you to share it. And I want you to get excited about the next group of youngsters. We are at a very, very important time in our country where it is you guys, girls, guys, me, we are driving this thing forward, because if we don't do it, nobody else will. So I wish you all of the best. I wish you very, very hard work. I wish you balance in life. I wish for you to not take life too seriously, but just seriously enough to have a lot of fun. Guys, thank you so much for having me again. I'll come back anytime anybody wants me. Who knows what Veldskoen will look like in the next couple of years, but today is 100% about you, and I wish you a blessed, restful period over the holidays and nothing but success. Thank you.
Oh my word, I don't know about you guys, but I actually feel like we should just take like a few seconds just to let all of that sink in. That was truly amazing, Nick. And I just want to tell all of you out there, while he was speaking, all of us in the studio, our heads were just nodding. And I'm sure the same can probably be said on your side. Like, it's just amazing. And yeah, I can totally relate to those ups and downs. I have a friend who's also an entrepreneur that says feast or famine. Some of it relates to finances, and some of it relates to the emotional feasts and famines and ups and downs, successes. But as you heard from Nick, none of that time is wasted. And as we also heard, you know, it's often these overnight successes that had 7 and 10 years of hard work, determination, making the right choices behind them. So excellent advice that you guys had here this morning. And I think, you know, also what he said in terms of if you're not happy, it's not going to work. So I also sometimes say to people, follow your energy. You know, the mornings when you get up and you're just like, oh, I can't believe I have to do this today. And you know, the days where, you know, you're up before the alarm because you're just so excited to do it. So follow your energy. And even heard Nick thinking that he's still in his 30s, actually whilst being in his 40s. I did hear that, Nick. Yeah, so hard work, doing the right thing, being kind. I'm not going to reiterate what he said, but I just want to say that we see your rose-tinted patriotism, and we are so grateful for it. And we're grateful for people like you, and we're grateful for you guys that are going to go out there and add to this rose-tinted patriotism. You heard there's opportunities abound. And yeah, support local. It's important. Let's support our country, this amazing place that we live in. And yeah, please, I see amazing comments coming up in the chat. Please use the chat. And then just lastly, excitingly, yes, today's top student will also be receiving a Veldskoen voucher to go and buy a pair of Veldskoens. And I can just tell you as well, everybody in studio here is also wearing their Veldskoens. So in full support of South Africa here today. Okay, so just before we go on to the awards procession, I would like to introduce Kevin Henderson, Stellenbosch Business School Executive Development, Proposal and Design Specialist, to say a few words about the program.
Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I know I'm standing between you and the most important part of your day, which is getting through the procession and receiving your awards and also acknowledgements as well. But thank you to Nick, thank you Melvie, thank you Chris. I was sitting over there and Melvie was saying, when she said, yeah, exactly, we were all nodding, etc. I feel so motivated after listening to the wonderful speakers that we've had. However, let me not hold you up for too long. And my task is just to share with you just understanding of what the program has been about for 2022. So the Young Minds program is a focused or career-focused gap year program, which is designed to assist school leavers, but also young adults, navigating and learn to navigate the next phase of their lives. During this program, they receive some knowledge and skills, developing that through some wonderful faculty that we have that will give them the tools, help them with some mindsets to change that when necessary in order to navigate it successfully the next phase of their lives. In essence, the program, however, consists of two components. Now, when I say two components, it's important to note that these components run consecutive or not consecutively, simultaneously, in that the first component is the theoretical piece where participants were exposed to some tools, some theory that helps them to make certain decisions in their lives. But at the same time, there was also a structured exploratory process where, like Nick and Chris has already referred to, they were exposed to personal mastery, they were exposed to business acumen, but also some entrepreneurial thinking. And I think the word exploratory is important because Nick referred to that earlier on, as he said, that you don't need to exactly know where you are at right now, what your gifts, what your talents are, and what you want again to do. And so that journey is where these young people in 2022 started their process like, so that they are on this journey to explore and discover that as well. Now, the entire process is underpinned by coaching, and the coaching process is informed by some psychometric assessments as well. The program culminates today. We've done some hard work up till this point, but it culminates today in the participants receiving some certificate of completion and competence. And to be successful in the program, they had to successfully complete a number of individual assignments. And in addition to that, they each one developed their own life plan for this year going forward under the guidance of some wonderful faculty, like I've already mentioned. But also, at the end of the program, they also had to work in groups, which we call syndicate groups, and they had to develop a business plan for a business and a business idea of their choice. And ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you, I've been part of that final presentation where these syndicate groups presented these wonderful ideas to the panel. And so Nick, I promise you, Chris, you guys can look forward. There's some wonderful ideas coming out, and we will look how we can continue to support these ideas coming to the fore. Allow me, though, to mention the following: our faculty and our learning process facilitators. We are very fortunate at Stellenbosch Business School Executive Development to have of the world's best faculty, and especially on this program. So let me take a minute to acknowledge our wonderful faculty for your hard work in preparing these participants for the journey going forward. But at the same time, also those coaches who were journeying with these participants as well. I was watching and following the FIFA 2022 World Cup soccer, and I'm sure many of you do. And there were a couple of surprises happening during this World Cup in soccer. And what has struck me is the fact that it's not about how big the nation is as a soccer nation, but we've noticed some smaller countries, smaller in terms of soccer terms, coming through and sort of causing a lot of surprise happening as well. What we do know about those teams, it was about the fact that they worked together effectively as a team to do success or have success and do justice to what their country is about. So we at Stellenbosch Business School Executive Development, we are grateful for this team that consists of our faculty, our administrators, our learning process facilitators, our coaches, that has helped these participants to get to this particular point. We want to say to our faculty and our learning process facilitators and coaches, we value you dearly, and we're looking forward to continue working with you as we go forward with this program. Now, I've mentioned the learning process facilitators. The learning process facilitator is the one person. You can imagine when we look at the many different modules that these participants were exposed to, for many of the young people, it's difficult to see where does this fit into. And so we're making use of our learning process facilitators to play exactly that role, to help young people to integrate the knowledge, to help young people to look for opportunities where they can apply it, but most of all, just to guide them as they journey together with the young people. And to this end, I would like to acknowledge Mr. Mark-Andre Daniels, the one learning process facilitator, and I'm therefore going to invite the other learning process facilitator, Zelda Berger, who will shortly share with us around her experience of 2022 and just a little bit of what these young people achieved for 2022. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to invite you to put your hands together, and I'm sure that the class of 2022 will be shouting and cheering as Zelda is taking the podium. Thank you.
Woo! Yes, Zelda! Woo!
Oh, yeah, that's.
Oh, Lord, no. I have one.
My goodness, everyone. Wow, what a learning journey we've had. Thank you, Kevin, for that wonderful introduction. And I just also want to start off by thanking you, Kevin, thanking Sam, and specifically thanking my colleague, Mark-Andre, who have partnered with me through this year. This is my second year on Young Minds, and it has yet again been a delightful year. Please just indulge me for a minute or two, just to take us through a bit of the journey we've had. And then I will end off with my personal reflections on the year. So yes, it is a learning journey, and it's not just about gaining knowledge and application of knowledge. It's also about personal growth. And the emphasis on personal growth is a very important emphasis for us on the program. So yes, when I look back, and we started at our orientation in March, and it was face-to-face in Stellies, and there was such an excitement built during that time. The syndicates were also formed during that time, and just indulge me with the names of the syndicates, because it's very dear to the young adults. It was the Mellow Squad, the Golden Group, the Rolling Pebbles, Innovate, Wolfpack, Flipped 9, Spice Girls, 8 Infinity Flip, the Rock Stars, and lastly, the Unintentionals. So from the names, you can gather the enthusiasm and inspiration they got from that very first day of the orientation, which was face-to-face. We then went through the modules, and obviously the modules being divided into business acumen, entrepreneurship, and personal mastery. And as Kevin has alluded to, during the personal mastery, they all had to go through a process of self-reflection and basically reflect on their life purpose, where their careers were going. And it was wonderful to listen to those final life plan presentations where they all had career visions, they all had career direction, and aspirations for their future. The business plan presentations were also phenomenal. And yes, there's a lot of very interesting entrepreneurial plans and business plans to look forward to. There are even some of the groups that are going to take this forward into real businesses. So we are very excited about that. I also just want to mention the life coaches. Thank you so much for your valuable input to this process. the life coaching plays a major role, also integrating into the program and helping each young adult to integrate the learning and also culminating in the life plan. And then, yes, I just want to then from myself just thank you for your diligence, your perseverance and resilience. Marc-Andre and myself saw this right through the year. It was a online program, remote, and the attendance, the engagement, the interactions were really profound. And it was always in a good spirit. We had good laughs, and the faculty obviously made it such a joy to also engage with them. I also enjoyed the individual and the group interactions and engagements. Every single WhatsApp from individual Young Minds participants, I enjoyed interacting with you, and I know Marc-Andre shares this sentiment. It was an absolute pleasure and privilege to assist you and to be there for you on this journey. It was also delightful to see your personal growth, and I want to just highlight the growth and confidence that we've seen, the self-belief that has increased profoundly. Also, and very lastly, the very important thing is finding your own authentic voice. When we look back at the life plan presentations, the business plan presentations in the very beginning and how we ended, that finding your authentic voice just came through so strongly. It was also wonderful to hear your career direction and choice and vision during your life plan presentations, clarity that came through this year. So just all in all, I want to thank you for the privilege of spending this year with you. You are an awesome, inspirational group of young adults. I wish you all a bright future with great success. And I just want to echo what Chris said in the very beginning. It's all about you. And I want to add something, what Nick said, live your passion. Thank you so much, everyone. It was a privilege.
Thank you, Zala.
Thank you so much, Kevin and Zelda. Again, guys, please, let's unmute our mics and just show one more round of appreciation for all the LPF's coaches, mentors that have been here for you on your journey. Come on, I want to hear you guys. Unmute. Yay, come on. Woo!
Very well done.
Let's do it.
Thank you.
And I think if I had to pick, I saw one comment coming through on the chat there. It said, thanks LPFs, our Yodas. I could not find, I think, a better way to explain that. So thanks, Grant. You nailed it. Okay, so now the moment you have all been waiting for, the much anticipated awards procession, where we will introduce individual students, the top group and the top student. I'm just telling you up front, I'm going to be expecting some drum rolls when we wait for those announcements of the top group and the top student. So I also want to remind you guys have been very quiet and very respectful, and we're very grateful for that. But this is the time now to unmute your mics, go woohoo, do whatever you please, express your joy, because this is definitely something to be celebrated. Hey, yes, covered. And let's see who are our students today. Yay! Come on, guys. I don't hear on the microphones yet. I want to hear you make some noise. You spent a year on this. Proud parents, proud mentors, proud sponsors. Come on, guys. Don't be shy. Unmute, and feel free to use the chat line. Congratulations, guys. Ruben, woo! Stefan, come on, guys.
So fresh.
Robert. Alita. Congrats, guys. Come on, I want to hear the parents, brothers, sisters, sponsors,
Sika,
everybody,
hi.
come on. Woo! Nice to see the
John.
comments coming through on the chat. Well done, everybody. This amazing work. I hope you guys feel proud. Come on, guys. I want to hear a woo. Is somebody going to give me a woo? Amazing, guys. And look at all these amazing photos. You guys all look so smart. Fantastic. Well done, everybody. Come on, guys. More noise, more noise. You need to try and drown us out in the studio here. Come on.
No. Hey.
Don't be shy. Woo! Jessica. Come on, guys. I'm pulling.
Hi.
Keep it going, Enrique. Nice.
Hey,
Some awesome
Dreyer.
messages coming through. Congrats to the fellow students. Thanks,
Wow.
Franchin.
Hello.
Amazing, guys. Well done. Paulo, Clarice. Yay, guys. Come on. Woo! Kieran. Yay, guys. Daniel. Come on, guys. I want to see the chat lighting up. Fantastic. Willem. Woo! Keep on going, guys. Annalisa. Well done, guys. Well done, guys. Come on,
Hey,
keep cheering.
Robert.
Keep cheering. Yay, I see a hooray on the chat line. Let's hear a hooray. Come on, guys. Unmute. Put on your videos. Jump up and down. Let's clap. Let's celebrate. Let's go wild. Danielle. Come on, every guys. Yes, amazing. Well done to the future of our country. Thanks for that amazing message, Beatrice. So true. You guys just heard it from Nick. You are the future. You are the ones that are going to make a difference. We believe in you. Well done, guys. Congrats, everybody. Come on, I want to see more emojis. More emojis. Someone give me 3 lines of emojis on the chat line. I want emojis. I'm waiting to see the emojis. Come on, guys. No, that's only 1 emoji. I want more. I want more emojis. I want more emojis. Come on, guys. Someone's going to completely overdo it on the emojis. I want to see lots of emojis. There we go. More. Okay, we're up to 3. Yay! Grant! Yay! That's a lot of emojis. Yay! Anybody want to beat Grant on the emojis? Can anyone beat Grant on the emojis? I think Grant's winning so far on emojis. Christian, well done, guys. I still want to hear people unmuting. Unmuting, guys. Come on, guys. Somebody has a wild yeehaw. We're screaming our lungs out in the studio here for us. Please help us. Come on. Woohoo! Yeah, well done, guys. Yay! Here we go.
There we go.
Whee! Thank you.
Well done, everyone.
Come on, there's more emojis. Ooh, fire. Yeah, baby. Now we're on fire. Come on, guys. Fantastic. Okay, I hope I still have a voice left. Well done, everyone. Okay, so now let's unmute. Let's do a drum roll for the top group. And the top group is for 2022, the Unintentionals. Unintentionals, come on. How are you guys feeling? Quiet chat. Woohoo! Unmute. Let's say woohoo! Well done. 94%. Amazing, guys. This is probably some of the top marks that we've ever had on this program. Just take a moment to think about that. You guys are flying high. Amazing. Well done to all of you. Amazing stuff. I hope you guys are feeling proud. Yes. Okay, awesome. Congratulations. I see cool messages coming through on the chat. Let's have another round of applause for the Unintentionals, please. And very important to say is well done to all of you on your amazing group work and presentations. We know all of you have put so much hard work into this. Thank you so much for your effort, and no doubt we heard hard work pays off. You guys are going to reap the rewards of this. Okay, and shall we move on to hear about who is our top student? Drum roll, please. hear you online. Unmute, come on. This is not a big enough drum roll. Come on, come on. It must thunder around us. Come on. We're building up, and our top student for 2022 is Annalisa Limmer. 90.9%. Oh my word, that is amazing. Annalisa, where are you? Please unmute. Tell us how you are feeling.
A little bit shocked. Sorry, can you hear me?
Why?
I can't believe it. I'm waiting for someone else's photo to pitch. Oh my word.
Why are you shocked? Hard work pays off. That's so amazing. Congratulations. Is your family on the line? Friends on the line?
My mother's on the line.
Yay, where's mom? Mom, how are you feeling? Yay!
Mom is here. I'm super proud. Thank you for the Young Minds program. It was amazing to see how Anna grew from coming out of matric, didn't know what she wanted to do. She grasped this whole program. I am so proud of you, Anna. Really, really proud of you. And yes, it is a wonderful course. We've been promoting it. There's a few students coming in as a reference from us for next year.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you to everyone, Zelda and the team. Really, I heard so many names, Zelda and JP and the life coach session. It's just also phenomenal for these youngsters. So
amazing, amazing.
Well done.
Thanks so much. Well done, Annalisa. Well done.
Well done.
Yeah, and again, a reminder, you are going to be receiving that Veldskoen voucher to buy yourself a little pair of Veldskoens for a little bit of holiday soul. Okay, guys, again, so much hard work went into this. All of you guys are here. You're receiving your certificates. Again, let's unmute and let's go like, woohoo, your loudest woohoo, your loudest cheers. Let's clap for everybody. All of you are amazing. And let's also really extend another round of thanks to all the parents, the supporters, the mentors, the LPFs, the people who have really facilitated this amazing learning journey here. And I'm sure we heard from Annalisa's mom, but I have no doubt that the other parents, mentors, etc. in the room are feeling equally proud of your growth this year. And it is what we heard from Nick earlier, you know, part of your journey, part of the hard work that is undoubtedly going to unlock success. Right. So without further ado, I just want to pass over to Kevin again for a final thank you and just to, yeah, let him.
Well done to all those recipients on a job well done. And we really want to congratulate you on achieving your achievement of today. I have one final piece to do, and it's usually a very difficult thing to do because you know you have to remember who to say thank you to. Allow me to say thank you and acknowledge a couple of people. First of all, I would like to say thank you to our speakers of today, Chris, always an inspiration, as well as Nick, for your part of the program of today. Your words of hard work, I think it's something young people don't always recognize anymore. I was so happy to hear that hard work still pays off. Also, to Melvi, I should get this one right, Dr. Melvi Todd. Come on, give her a hand of applause again. To Melvi Todd for being our MC for today. Your job well done. Really appreciate your effort, your energy, and you've really contributed to a great program for today. I will be not attacked, but I would fail dismally at my task if I don't acknowledge a very important person. Our program manager for the Young Minds program of 2022, Samantha Abrams. I see you there, my dear. Well done. The young people, our participants, they appreciate. In many ways, Samantha was like a mother to these young people, chasing after assignments, ensuring that their assignments are uploaded. So Samantha, just a hearty thank you to you for your part as well. Then sponsors and parents were mentioned earlier on. And I would like to just acknowledge your support of the young people through 2022. Thank you very much for believing in these young people. I always say this is the future of our country, and in line with what Nick has said in his talk, also to recognize that it's these young people that will become the leaders of tomorrow. So thank you for supporting them. Thank you for acknowledging them. Thank you for encouraging them. And thank you for motivating them under sometimes difficult circumstances as well. As we're closing this ceremony today, allow me to say, those of us who celebrate the Christmas season or Christmas as such, may you have a blessed one. And those of us who are just going to enjoy the holiday season, please be careful, stay safe. And as you are going to celebrate today, may I remind you, celebrate hard, but please celebrate responsibly. If you are going away for the holiday season, please travel safely, ensure that your cars are serviced, that the cars are in good nick to be on the road. And we want to wish you a pleasant end of 2022 and a prosperous 2023. In closing, both Chris and Nick were referring to taking a break, taking some time out. It's now an old book, and it's Stephen Covey in his 7 Habits of Highly Effective People that speaks of habit number 7, sharpening the saw. May you take this time of break, and that you're going to be on a break, to sharpening the saw for 2023. Thank you.
So much, Kevin, for those last words and reminding us again, and we've heard it several times tonight, is that we need to take time to rest and reflect and to make us better in the future. So I can't resist just saying one last thing before we go. And so I'd like to add a note from one of my favorite authors, James Clear. He is award-winning author of the book Atomic Habits. And I must admit, I'm a little bit of a groupie, so just my confession over there. So he also talks and writes about success. And I recently saw a post that he did on Instagram that said, asking what makes someone successful is like asking which ingredient makes a recipe good. It's not any single ingredient. It's a combination of many ingredients in the right proportions and in the right order, and the absence of anything that would ruin the mixture. We trust that this program will be a key ingredient in your success going forward, not the only one, but one of many, hopefully. But yesterday in discussing this, we also realized here that we need to add to the statement, and that is that you need to come to the table with an appetite. This is what Chris said yesterday. And so from all of us here at Stellenbosch Business School Executive Development, we really want to thank you, students, for coming to the table with an appetite of learning and sharing so graciously from yourselves, your life journey, your experiences. We really do wish you the very, very best on your journey going forward. And with that, I would like to conclude today's proceedings. Let's please unmute our mics one last time and give a massive round of applause. Let's celebrate together.
Well done, everyone. Thank you.